Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello dear students, I am Dr. Mona Semalti from HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Garhwal. I welcome you all in this module and in continuation to our previous module on cosmetic preparations. Today we will discuss rheological additives which are used in cosmetic preparations. So this is our learning outcome, what we are going to learn today. What is rheology, viscosity, and how to measure viscosity, what are different types of flow, and what are different rheological additives. So all these things we are going to learn today, and this is going to be our lesson plan, dear students. Rheology and viscosity and types of flow and viscosity, different types of viscosity we will discuss, viscosity measurement and different rheological additives. So rheology is about the flow, and when we apply it to cosmetic, it plays a very important role in controlling the stability even when the product is at rest. So before understanding about rheological additives, we need to understand what rheology is, and rheology is the science of flow. We study the flow characteristics in rheology. So study of the change in the form of flow of matter embracing elasticity, viscosity and plasticity. So now viscosity is resistance to flow, okay, and measured by ratio of shear stress to shear rate. Shear stress, which is a force per unit area applied, and shear rate is the resulting viscosity gradient. Okay, so this is what viscosity is. So in a gross term or in a layman term, if we try to understand viscosity, see, viscosity is the resistance to flow. Okay, if we take example of water and oil, so dear student, can you tell me which liquid has the high viscosity? Okay, can you tell me? Water or oil? Obviously, oil has got the more viscosity. So this way we can understand viscosity. Next, we will see different types of flow. Newtonian flow. In Newtonian flow, the viscosity remains constant no matter the amount of shear applied for a constant temperature. Okay. So these fluids have a linear relationship between viscosity and shear stress. So you can take example of Newtonian flow like water, mineral oil, gasoline, alcohol. So these are examples of Newtonian flow. Now non-Newtonian flow, when shear is applied to non-Newtonian fluid, the viscosity of the fluid changes. The behavior of the fluid can be described by these four ways. Okay, so we are going to now discuss these. Dilated flow, viscosity of the liquid increases when shear is applied. For example, quicksand and corn floor, you can take example of dilated flow. Now pseudoplastic flow. Viscosity of the fluid decreases with increasing the shear. Ketchup, you can take an example. So as you can also see in the figure, see the viscosity and the stress, dilated flow and how pseudoplastic flow is represented. Okay. So rheopactic, it is similar to the dilated flow, but the difference is that increase in viscosity is time dependent. For example, cream and gypsum paste, you can take example. Now, thixotropic flow. Fluids with thixotropic property decrease in viscosity when shear is applied. So this is time dependent, okay, as well. This is also time dependent. You can take example of paint and glue. Flow characteristics. We will move now to flow characteristics. See, flow means motion and rheology is the science which studies how the things flow. So, what are the characteristics? Every cosmetics and toiletry product, they have a specific rheological or we can say the specific characteristics like flowing, vibrating, spinning, dripping, running, swirling and sipping. So based on these characteristics, we can analyze the flow property of a liquid. Measurement of viscosity. So dear students, this you might be knowing already, but here as we are talking about rheology and viscosity, so a little I will mention here that measurement of viscosity. So let's start like generally we measure two type of viscosity: absolute dynamic viscosity and kinematic viscosity. Okay, so proportionality, constant between shear stress and velocity gradient is often called dynamic viscosity or absolute viscosity. So dynamic viscosity, a reciprocal of dynamic viscosity is fluidity. Okay, so as you know, so the ratio of shear stress to velocity gradient of the fluid is known as absolute viscosity. Kinematic viscosity, it depends on absolute viscosity of the fluid. So ratio of absolute viscosity to density of fluid is known as kinematic viscosity. I just mentioned this type just to recall you quickly. So moving to the next slide. Measurement of viscosity, just dear students, just please quickly recall what are the instruments used for the measurement of the viscosity. These are called viscometers, and viscometers only measure under one flow condition. So most popular viscometers to measure shear viscosity are capillary flow viscometer. Okay, so circular flow viscometer, cone and plate viscometer and parallel plate viscometer. So I am not going in detail about how to measure and the principle behind the working of these instruments. So please dear students, just go through. So this is a homework for you. Go through from the principle and the working of these viscometers. Now directly moving to the rheological additives. What is the concept behind? See dear students, please understand we are discussing here cosmetic preparation and rheological additives. Okay, so rheological additives, what is the use of rheological additive in cosmetics? So that means viscosity is going to play an important role. How? Take example of a lotion. When we squeeze a lotion, what happens? We need to apply a little force and we squeeze. So the lotion comes out from the container. Okay. So the way it comes out from the container and the form in which it comes out. Okay. So there viscosity plays an important role. And see the cosmetic, whether we take example of a perfume, cream, shampoo. So the flow is important. So for the maintenance of that flow as per the requirement of the product, rheological additives are used. So now in this module we are going to discuss the classes of rheological additives and their uses. Example we will see. So just follow me in these slides, so at least you will be able to know and then you can study further with the help of these modules. So here till now in this module, let me little summarize what all things we discussed. We discussed here the concept of viscosity, rheology, Okay, different types of flow. We discussed non-Newtonian, Newtonian flow, dilatant, pseudoplastic flow, and other types of flow, and viscosity, how to measure, and what are the instruments which are used to measure viscosity of a fluid. Now moving to rheological additives which are used in the formulation. So this is the I have represented rheological additives in tabular form, just like natural additives. Natural additives mean the source is from the nature. Either it may be plant, microbial, or animal. So natural additives, plant, if we take example, caraya gum, guar gum, pectin, starch. So these are the examples of rheological additives originated from plant, or the plant is the source of them. Okay. Now natural additives, microbials, xanthan gum and dextran, casein, keratin and shellac are from animal source. So remember natural additives. Now modified natural additives, cellulose derivative, guar derivative, seawood extract. So example of that is guar additive, and wood pulp and cotton cellulose derivatives. Okay. Now synthetic. Whenever we say synthetic means some chemical reaction is there. With the help of some chemical reaction, they are formulated. So petroleum based, we can take example of acrylic acid polymers and polyacrylamide. Then inorganic clays and amorphous silicon dioxides are example of these clays. You can take different example of organoclays and amorphous silicon dioxide, hydrated silica, fumed silica. These are inorganic rheological additives. Now moving to the natural gum from natural source. So natural gum are polysaccharides of natural origin capable of increasing in solution even at small concentration. So I will tell you that how the question will come from this topic later in this module. So first alginates derived from brown seawood in the form of monovalent and divalent salt, anionic polysaccharides they are, and used as a thickener and stabilizer in cosmetic preparations. Okay. Next we'll take example of gum arabic. So it is used under the concentration of 40%. Okay. This is one example. So at concentration under 40%, it exhibits the Newtonian flow. So at higher concentration, it behaves in a pseudoplastic manner. So the anionic polysaccharides they are, and they are used in other dosage forms also. They are used as a suspending agent, as an emulsifier, adhesive, and binder in tablet. So non-ionic derived from seeds, it exhibits pseudoplastic flow and used as a thickener, and they are used in suspension for the stabilizer, as a stabilizer. Caraya gum. The viscosity of caraya gum in water increases rapidly in concentration, so that the dispersion with a concentration of 2 to 3% acts as a gel. Anionic exudate polysaccharide used as a denture additive and in bulk laxative. So completely the selection of a suitable rheological additive depends on the formulation we are going to prepare. So based on the compatibility, based on the requirements, for example of its gelling requirements, its solubility, and if it is used as a additive in other forms, so all these things. So when the formulator decides a complete formula, these additives need to be checked for the compatibility. So then only they are used. Robust bean gum, again taking one more example. Solution of these gum are pseudoplastic, non-ionic seed polysaccharide, and it is one of the most efficient thickening natural polymer. Okay, so remember the example robust bean gum, efficient thickening, and it is natural polymer used in many cosmetic preparations. Okay, xanthan gum, it exhibit the pseudoplastic rheology. And ionic polysaccharides, their temperature has a little effect on the viscosity of this gum, and it is the unique property of the xanthan gum, used as a thickener, suspension stabilizer, and suspending agent. It is also used as a suspending agent. Moving to cellulose derivative, most commonly used rheological additives as well as cellulose derivatives are used as a additive in general, also for binding purposes also they are used, and as a polymer it has an important role to play, cellulose derivatives. So they are most widely used in the starting material from manufacturing up to modified natural polymer. Okay, so cellulose ethers and methyl substitution generally form a gel at elevated temperature. So gel formation is reversed when temperature is reduced. Sodium CMC and ethyl cellulose, dear students, you might have heard of name sodium CMC, SCMC, the short form, and ethyl cellulose we mention as a EC ethyl cellulose, and the viscosity of CMC solution decreases reversibly with increasing in temperature. So this is the property it has, that when we increase the temperature, its viscosity decreases. So viscosity decreases means the when we dissolve it in a aqueous fluid, it starts increasing the viscosity towards a gelling property like. Okay. So rheology of aqueous CMC solution depends on the degree of substitution. So low substitution leads to thixotropy, while high substitution results in pseudoplastic behavior. So this is non-ionic, either derivative of cellulose. MCC, this is structure, and microcrystalline cellulose. The colloidal dispersion of microcrystalline cellulose blend exhibit thixotropic rheology. So viscosity is not affected by temperature. So it is used as a stabilizer and thickener. So the beauty of microcrystalline cellulose is its viscosity is not affected by temperature. So that is why it is used as a stabilizer and thickener in aqueous system. Synthetic polymers. Synthetic polymers are compounds that are produced artificially by human from chemical process. Okay, some chemical interventions are there. Synthetic process, I told you earlier also, when synthetic means some chemical reaction exists. So with the help of some chemical reaction they are synthesized. Okay, carbomer, polyacrylic acid. Solution of carbomers, they are very pseudoplastic and exhibit yield value and provide high stability in aqueous system. Carbomer 934P is example, which is used as a thickening agent in cosmetics product. So clays, okay, in cosmetic preparation, clays they play, especially in the preparation of the face mask, face masking packs which comes in the market. So this clay plays an important role. The gels are formed about at the 5% concentration and it exhibit a plastic flow. So it is superior suspending agent because it prevents caking without affecting porability of product. Now bentonite. See, bentonite clay is a natural clay with a fine soft texture. Okay, bentonite clay which forms a paste when mixed with water. So some people use this paste for medical and cosmetic benefits such as treating rashes, acne, or used as a hair mask also, and it treats the oily skin, and it is used for treatment people apply it for the treatment of acne. Other rheological additives. So aqueous phase and non-aqueous phase. So the earlier in this module which we discussed were the classification of rheological additives, natural, synthetic and natural. We studied about the rheological additive from plant source, microbial source and from animal source. So these are some branded rheological additives. So let's see aqueous phase and non-aqueous phase additives. So aqueous phase, Rheoloxe associate thickener, Hectorite, Benton hydrophilic clays, non-aqueous में Benton, organophilic clays, Benton gel, Thixin R. So these are its brand name. Aqueous phase additives, moving to, as I said, the Rheolox family of rheology modifiers. They are non-ionic polymer thickener designed specially for the personal care market. Hectorite, which is a unique swelling clay offering several advantages, and bentonite M, A, E, W and LT rheological additives provides thixotropy to the aqueous phase. So aqueous phase additives. Aqueous phase additives means we can easily mix them with an aqueous phase like water. Non-aqueous phase additives means these are not soluble in water. So we need to go for, if we will select a vehicle, so the vehicle must be non-aqueous. Non-aqueous means oil, the other types of oils which are used as a vehicle in cosmetic preparations. So Hectorite is now reacted with special vegetable quaternary ammonium salt to produce organoclays able to thicken and gel organic liquids. Okay. Non-aqueous phase additive bentonite gel. So, okay. It enables formulator to achieve the maximum efficiency from the organoclay without the need for careful shearing and activation. So this is the beauty of bentonite gel, that it helps formulator in a way like we need not to apply the shearing and activation to when it is used in the formulation. Okay, so for the high degree of thixotropy in aliphatic liquid, Thixin R additive is the product to use. Thixin R additives, you can mention it in the example also. So in addition to its effective rheological property, it gives water repellency, stabilizes emulsion and acts as a stiffening agent in lipstick and ointment. So dear student, you can remember it as like Thixin R, which is used as a stiffening agent in lipstick and in ointments. So dear students, these are references. Just go through from these references for further reading. So now coming to the end of this module, let me summarize that what all we have studied. Concept of viscosity, concept of rheology, different types of rheological additive, their classification we have studied, and some branded brand names of I have also told you about some brand names of the rheological additives in, and we categorize them in two forms, aqueous form and non-aqueous form additives, rheological additives, and the importance of rheological additives. Now little bit we will talk about the exam point of view. So dear students, rheological additives, they are part of the formulation of cosmetics if it comes generally in the examination. Like if a general questions comes in the examination that how that discuss the formulation of cosmetics, then this is one part. Okay, so I have elaborated it much for your reference, but in exam it is a part in a major question, and in 5 marks question if it comes a write a note on rheological additives, we are going to discuss it completely because 5 marks it matters in the examination, and this is up to you that how you are going to condense it. Okay, so I would suggest ki draw a table mentioning the name of the rheological additives and their property, which kind of flow they exhibit, and their specific use if with their standard concentration. So concentration, I have not discussed about that in what concentration they are used, so this we will discuss in the coming module. And of course you can prepare multiple choice question, so that is very the important aspect, that they may ask stating one rheological additive, and they can be asked the class, which class it belongs, or in which preparation it is used mostly. So this kind of question may come from this module, rheological modifiers, and or we can also say the rheological additives. So dear students, please go through from this module and references which are mentioned here, and stay tuned for more videos on cosmetic preparations, and thank you so much for watching this video.